Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel, Platform of Learning Linguistics. Today we are going to talk about fossilization. What is fossilization? What are the reasons of fossilization? How to classify it? And what are the different types of fossilization, including the causal factors, and how to reduce fossilization. Now let's get started with its definition. That is a permanent cessation of will-to learning before the learner has attained the target language norms at all levels of language structures. A second definition is that fossilization is when a learner's bad speaking or writing habits become permanent and hard to get rid of. We can also define it as a relatively permanent incorporation of incorrect linguistic forms into a person's second language competence. Now, the question arises that why and when does fossilization happen? It occurs when a two learner is capable of conveying message with the current language knowledge. Therefore, the need to correct the form or structure is not required. Thus, the learner fossilizes the form instead of correcting it. Now, let's talk about the classification of fossilization. One type of fossilization or one class of fossilization is called individual fossilization, and the second one is called the group fossilization. Individual fossilization means when a single individual fossilizes a language, while group fossilization means when the entire community or group or society fossilizes a language. And this type of fossilization results in a new dialect. For instance, we have Indian dialect of English, and we have Paklish, a Pakistani dialect of English, so on and so forth. We also have different types of fossilization. Like the first one is phonological fossilization. It means when we fossilize the sounds of a language. For instance, we have theta sound in English, but Chinese people cannot pronounce this word as th. They pronounce it as s, and we pronounce the same sound as the. Although neither the and nor say is the correct sound. The correct one is the standardized, and standard one is the, but we cannot pronounce it as the native speakers can pronounce it. And this type of fossilization is called phonological fossilization. The second type of fossilization is morphological fossilization. When it means the fossilization in the morphemes of a language. For instance, we may say, for instance, the children's. Although the children, the word is already plural, but we add that s to it, and when we do the same permanently for a long time, then this is called morphological fossilization, and we do this all the time. The third type of fossilization is syntactic fossilization. It means that, and it always happens due to the using L1 rules in L2. For instance, Urdu speakers may say the sentence that I go to school. They may fossilize this sentence as I school go. So this is called the syntactic fossilization. The fourth type of fossilization is called the semantic fossilization. It means that when a word is permanently used in a wrong context. For instance, we have a word that is called application, and we have a synonymous word that is request. But request is a kind of informal word, while application is a kind of more or formal word. Now, when we use the word request in a formal situation and an application, then this type of error is called semantic fossilization when we do the same permanently. Now let's also discuss some causal factors of fossilization. Some of them are: number first is the language transfer. As we discussed in the syntactic fossilization, that L1 rules may be applied in the second language or on the second language, and this is one of the reasons as well. Now the second reason is the training transfer. It is that when you use like an incorrect language, but there is no one to guide you, there is no one to train you, or when your teacher or trainer is not a native speaker, or when you listen to him and he uses the language incorrectly and you also internalize the incorrect language, then this is also like one of the reasons of fossilization. The next one is overgeneralization, like we discussed it in the morphological fossilization, that when you overgeneralize a rule. For instance, when you add s to children, when you add s to fish or sheep, then this kind of thing is called overgeneralization, and it is one of the main reasons of fossilization as well. There can be some other reasons, for instance, like learning strategies. When your learning strategy is not a proper one, then it can also lead to fossilization. Now, how to reduce fossilization? It is simple, like you should adopt the strategies that are appropriate. Appropriate learning strategies should be adopted. The second thing is to reduce the negative transfer from the first language into the second one. If we if we reduce this negative language transfer, then we can reduce fossilization in this way as well. The important thing is that exposure to the target language in society, culture, etc., and in this way we can incorporate the correct pronunciation, the correct wording, the correct like grammar, each and everything. So exposure to target language is one of the main thing through which we can reduce the this fossilization. So this was all about fossilization, and I hope you have understood the topic. And in the last I will make a request to please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon in order to receive the notification of the upcoming lectures as well. Thank you for watching.